see if I can lift these. It's gonna be interesting. Oh my god. Like, what is this? Like, I have a problem. 25 books. 25. 5 and 20. I have 25 books accumulated in the past couple of months, and it's safe to say I need a little bit of help to stop me from buying more. But let's face it, I'm not going to stop buying them. I'm a savage. What's the crack, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I know it has been a while since I uploaded a bookish video. I think the last one went up at the start of September, and then I did my holiday videos, you know, the get ready with me, the travel diary, and then the one for Brilliance of the Seas, which was the ship that I was on my holiday. But in September I kind of just decided to take a little bit of a me month because it was my birthday, and you know when you come back from traveling you've just like got crud and you're just like not feeling anything. That's what happened. And then at the start of October I decided, right, I'll do my wrap up for August because I only read like a couple of books in August and I only bought a couple, and then so I thought there was not much point in doing a video, so I left it to the end of September, start of October. Start of October came around and I got the cold, I felt like crap. Anytime I decided to sit down and actually film a video, there was construction going on outside, so that wasn't happening, and then so it just got on and on and on. I just figured, you know what, see me doing it now, I'll do it at the end of October, and so here we are, folks, and this is what happens when you put off doing a book haul for about 3 months. You end up with 25 books, and especially when one of those months is your birth month and your best friend decides to give you a gift voucher for Waterstones. Don't know why I'm doing this with my head. So I can already imagine this being like a very lengthy video, and even if I took 1 minute to talk about each book, it would still be about a 25-minute long video, and I'm not about to subject you to a 25-minute long video with this beak looking at you. So I'm just going to stop rambling and show you the books that I got. As always, these are in no particular order, just the way I picked them up off of the floor because I can't remember what date I bought half of them on. So yeah. So I'm going to start off with the 2 most random purchases that I got, and you'll understand why they're a bit random when I show them to you. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs and Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Cassie, you already have those. I know, I already have them because Caraval's right there, and Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children is right here. But these are in Spanish. So Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children becomes El Hogar de Miss Peregrine para Niños Peculiares. Caraval is Caraval. In case any of you didn't know, I took Spanish to A level, which is the last kind of tier of high school. I can read Spanish. I'm not particularly good at talking Spanish, but I can actually read Spanish pretty well. But whenever I was on holiday, I was in the middle of the Mediterranean surrounded by Spanish people. And so when I got home, I really wanted to get back into Spanish and speaking Spanish and learning Spanish, and so I decided to pick up 2 of my favorite books in Spanish, hoping that it will entice me to read them. I haven't read them yet because, you know, let's just face it, it's going to take a while to get through anything in Spanish. Random, right? Why am I losing my voice already? This is the first video that I've filmed. Why am I losing my voice? So then I picked up Magnus Chase and the Sheep of the Dead. That's not it. And then I picked up Magnus Chase and the Ship of the Dead by Rick Riordan. This is the 3rd book in the Magnus Chase series, and I have not read that series yet because I wanted to finish Heroes of Olympus, and I have finished that, so then this is the next one up. I have no idea what happens in Magnus Chase. I have no idea what even happens in this. All I know is that I wanted the 3 books all together so that I could just binge read them, because Rick Riordan does that to me. I just binge read all of his books, and his writing is fantastic, and so I love the way he did the Greek mythology, so let's just see what he does with Norse. This was a bit of an impulse buy because I just saw the cover and then the cover underneath the dust jacket, and I thought, you know, why not? So then I got Sleeping Beauties by Owen and Stephen King, and just look at this cover. Isn't it just gorgeous? And then look at the underneath the dust jacket. Oh my god! And I think this is a fox, and I think each book has like a different animal on it. I think I remember seeing there was one with a tiger on it as well. It's just, oh, it's gorgeous, and anything blue is just, you know, like me and a magpie, just give me. And look at the end pages, they're so pretty too. So this book is a collab between father and son, Stephen and Owen King, and this asks the question, what would happen if women disappeared from the world of men? All around the world something is happening to women when they fall asleep. Some of them aren't waking up, and then they're being surrounded by this almost cocoon type of material, and they can't be woken. If their sleep is disturbed, then they become feral. In this book, it follows this women's prison in Virginia. It's affecting all of the inmates except for one. And she's able to fall asleep and wake up, unlike all the other women in the world who just fall asleep and stay asleep, or the ones that are woken up, they become, you know, insane and feral and just monstrous. And then of course men left to their own devices become a bit more primal, and it just sounds like such an intriguing read. And when you see it like this thick, this is about 700 pages, like thank God it's not Bible pages, but it just sounds like such a class read. I also picked up The Changelings Journey by Christine Spurs. This is by a bookstagram. This is self-published, and it is all about like Scottish mythology and myth and legend and folklore. It's all about changelings, and changelings are creatures that replace babies. They don't know for why, but they never have like a particularly long existence. They only survive for like a couple of years and then die. Morven is the last remaining changeling in her village, and she's wondering, why am I the only one that's alive? I think she's 18. Could be 16 or 18. The oldest surviving changeling. She wants to know where she came from, why she was chosen, why she was left in this village, and just she goes on a journey with her best friend. And then it also has another Jill's perspective from Princess Freya, who doesn't know what to do with herself now that her love is gone. And then the queen of a nearby kingdom like spends more time lost in a reverie than she does controlling her kingdom. And so it just sounds like a very interesting read. I actually did start this. I'm actually on chapter 6, but I actually had to put it down because it is rife with punctuation errors, and like I am such a stickler for proper spelling, punctuation, grammar, that I find this quite difficult to read, and I actually have a pencil with it so that I can correct it. Not trying to take anything away from Christine, it's still a wonderful thing that she managed to self-publish her own book, but at the same time I'm such like a stickler for spelling, punctuation, and grammar. So we'll see what kind of rating I give this, but I loved what I read so far of despite the errors. Then, because I'm such a child, I also picked up Rise of the Isle of the Lost by Melissa de la Cruz. This is a Descendants novel. I actually got this in the Disney store. But this, I think, actually takes place after the events of Descendants 2. King Triton's trident, wow, that's a tongue twister, has passed through the magical barrier that separates the Isle of the Lost from Eridon, I think it's called. Uma, the daughter of Ursula, wants to get it, and I don't really know anything else about this book. It was just, you know, I have such a soft spot for the Descendants movie. Yes, I know I'm not the key demographic for it, but hey, I'm a child. What can I say? I also picked up The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I know this isn't the cover that a lot of people go for, but it was cheap in HMB, and I just, you know, decided to get it. And this follows the story of a circus that, you know, arrives in town. It wasn't there one day, then appeared, and with no warning, no advertisements, no nothing, it just goes from there. I really don't know a lot about this book. I've heard a lot about it. I heard like that people love this book, and it's almost like Caraval in some respects, that Caraval was inspired by this book. Even the summary of the book doesn't give you much to go on, but I am very excited to read this one. Because I'm obsessed with Hamilton, I picked up Alex and Eliza, also by Melissa de la Cruz. This follows the love story between Alexander Hamilton and Elizabeth Schuyler, and it's just set along the backdrop of the American Revolution. In the musical, you don't really get a lot of the story between Alex and Eliza. You get like a couple of songs, but it literally spans about like 5 minutes of the actual musical, and you don't really get a lot of information about them and about their lives and about their married life and what happens. And so yeah, I just picked it up, and I just wanted to learn more about Alex and Eliza and their love story and what actually happens. Kind of like, it's almost like a behind the scenes of Hamilton. Almost, not quite. Just more information. You know the way like movies only are like that much of the big story of the book, whereas Hamilton is like the tip of the iceberg, and so this is underneath. Hopefully. I'm hoping. I also picked up The Dark Tower, The Gunslinger by Stephen King. Yes, I know I say tower weird, but I am Irish, so we say tar. Like tower, but like 1,000 times faster. Tar. I don't know why I'm speaking this, but that's what you get when you have a Northern Irish accent. I wish I had a Southern one, because then I could say Jack Tower, and then people wouldn't be looking at me weird. I digress. So I picked up The Dark Tower by Stephen King. I have really no idea what this book is about. All I know is that the movie looked phenomenal. Matthew McConaughey. The other guy, I can't really remember his name right now. I want to say Idris Elba, but I'm probably mortifyingly wrong. And it was going cheap in Sainsbury's, so picked it up. Speaking of books that went cheap in Sainsbury's, I also picked up Carte Postales from Greece I took Spanish, not French. And this is by Victoria Hislop. I thought I was going to bring this on holiday with me because I was going to the Mediterranean and Greece was one of the stops. But in this book, the character Ellie has these postcards arrive at her house addressed to somebody that she doesn't know and just signed with the name A. And she becomes entranced by these letters and looks forward to them arriving and then just decides that, you know, she's going to go to Greece and see what happens. But then on the morning that she was going to leave, a notebook appeared and it details this person's journeys and ventures through Greece. And this notebook has things that are moving, surprising, and sometimes dark. And this person's tale unfolds with a discovery not only of culture but of a desire to live life to its fullest. And I just thought this was like so cute, and I thought it would be a really great read when on holiday, but alas, I didn't actually bring this one with me. I brought something else, but I kind of wish I did bring this one with me. Moving on, I picked up 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. Wasn't really much of a reason why I picked this up. I had always wanted to read more of Jules Verne and H.G. Wells, but I saw this cut version of it and I just thought it was so cute. And it's actually 3D. It came with these glasses, which is pretty damn cool. My curiosity was piqued for 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea during an episode of Star Trek Voyager, 30 Days, and Tom Paris was talking about this book, and I'm a sucker, okay? I'm a fangirl. Any kind of book that's mentioned in my favorite television shows, I'm going to eventually read. Notice I said eventually, because I've been watching Star Trek for about 18 years. Only got around to reading this now. And I thought it was going to be completely different, but I'll talk more about that in my wrap-up. But yeah, so, got this. I also picked up Ice Like Fire by Sarah Rosh. I think this is the second book in the Snow Like Ashes trilogy. I read Snow Like Ashes in July, I think, and I really, really loved it. And so whenever I saw the next book in Waterstones, I just had to pick it up because usually I can never remember which one follows Snow Like Ashes. I saw this in Waterstones one day and I just was like, right, you're coming home with me now because I want to get on with this trilogy. I have no idea what happens in it. I didn't want to read the back at all. It just follows where Snow Like Ashes left off. And where that book left off, I was very intrigued to find out what happened next. And of course, I waited about 3 or 4 months to do that, so. And I might have to wait a little bit longer, because 25 books, people. I don't want spoilers, I don't want to read the back. Like, that's what I'm like when I buy, like, sequel to something, I don't read the back of it. It's, hello, spoilers. Another book that I have really no idea what happens, but I'm pretty sure everybody out there does know, because they probably either read it or watched the miniseries that came out of it, and that is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. It is such a pretty cover, isn't it? Like, I wanted to get the hardback edition that came out, but I saw this one instead. So all I really know about it is that it follows this woman Offred, and her only job in life is to breed because something has happened to the upper class that they can't have children, and so she's one of these ones that is basically like farmed into having children. That's all I really know about it. I didn't even watch the series because I turned to it once and then this guy was getting beaten up by the handmaids and I was just like, okay, pass. So pick that one up. This is going well. I don't know anything about this book. I don't know. I didn't want to read it. I just picked it up. Get your life together. Another book that I really don't know a lot about. Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. Never read anything by Agatha Christie before. Don't really know much about the Murder on the Orient Express except for what it says in the title. Murder on the Orient Express. And it's being turned into a movie. Not that I really want to see the movie, it's just I want to get more into classics. This is one of them. And this is one of the nicer looking book covers for this book. Some of them are like awful, and then there's the mass paperback edition for the movie, and I just love this one. Going well, going well, going well. I also picked up All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. Again, no real reason why I want to pick this up. It's just Maggie Stiefvater, and it just looks, the cover is beautiful. I have previously read The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I still have the rest of the series to go, but I'm going to get to that hopefully in November. But this book follows 3 cousins who perform miracles. So it follows Beatrice, Daniel, and Joaquin. Beatrice is the girl without feelings who only wants to be free to examine her thoughts. Daniel, the saint of Bicorajo, who performs miracles for everyone but himself, and Joaquin, who spends his nights running a renegade radio station under the name Diablo Diablo. They are all looking for a miracle, but the miracles of Bicorajo are never quite what you expect. Sounds intriguing. I have heard mixed reviews about this, but I'm going to go into it with an open mind, and I think I read the first couple of sentences when I was in Waterstones picking it up, and just decided, yep, you're coming home with me. After much humming and hawing about this book, I finally picked it up, because anytime I went into Waterstones or Eason's, it was there staring at me and going, buy me, take me home, you will love me. And that is Geekerella by Ashley Poston. This is a Cinderella retelling, but with a geeky fangirl twist. This follows Danielle and Darian. Danielle is a blogger, but also loves her sci-fi show Starfield, and as a Star Trek fan, I identified with her on such a spiritual level. I've already read this book since I purchased it, and I absolutely adored it, honestly. And then Darian, who is an actor on Starfield, they end up communicating through text when Darian tries to get out of the convention that Danielle's late father had started. And so they end up talking to each other, not knowing who the other person on the phone is. And I absolutely love this. I swear, this is just like fangirl heaven in a book. I absolutely loved it. Even the Cinderella twist in it, I didn't really mind. I loved that as well. And at the same time, when I was hearing about this book, I wasn't expecting much from it, and I absolutely loved it. And I'm so glad that I picked this up, and I will go more into depth in a video that I'm going to do about it, and if it's already up, I will link it down below. If not, I will link it, and I will talk about it more in my wrap-up as well. Also picked up a couple of books by Ms. Leigh Bardugo. I love Leigh Bardugo, let's just say that. So I picked up Ruin and Rising, which is the third book in the Grisha trilogy, and it's the final book in it, and I absolutely loved it. I needed to find out what happened after what happened in Siege and Storm, so naturally I progressed to Ruin and Rising, and it's phenomenal. Sometimes with Leigh Bardugo's books, especially the Grisha trilogy, at times I'm like so confused about what happened in the last one, because usually it's a couple of months before I get to the next one. But at least I can say that's only been a couple of months, whereas like people that were reading it as it was published had to wait like a year or more. I had to read it, I had to pick it up, I finally picked it up, and I really want to repurchase the new covers because I love them even more. I also got Wonder Woman Warbringer. It's signed. Yes! I don't know what edition this is because I have not seen this one hauled on YouTube yet. I absolutely love it. I love this cover. The book is pretty much just simple, but... And of course this follows Wonder Woman Diana, Princess of Themyscira. And this basically takes place as if the movie never happened. It's like in a different universe to the movie, but is still phenomenal. Diana is a young adult, she's about 16, and she wants to prove herself to her sisters on Themyscira. They think, you know, she doesn't belong here because she hadn't earned the right to be on Themyscira. Then one day Diana notices a wrecked ship off of the bay and goes and rescues the girl Aaliyah. And scared that her mother and sisters will find out that there is an outsider on the island, she decides, right, I'm going to get you off the island, I'm going to get you home, I'm going to restore the balance of the world, and I'll be home before they even notice. I'll face my punishment. And so with Aaliyah, she goes to New York, and everything just happens from there. And I loved this book so much. Like the characters that Leigh Bardugo creates, they are just phenomenal. And I would, like, even if you're not a big Wonder Woman fan, I would highly recommend this book. It is phenomenal, and Leigh Bardugo's writing is just incredible. I love it. I would read anything by her. And also by Leigh Bardugo, I picked up The Language of Thorns, which is a collection of fairy tales, and also it is signed. And unlike Wonder Woman, this is actually physically signed and not just a book plate, which I am so happy about. And as I said, this is a collection of fairy tales and short stories of magic, but there's a twist to this, because look, each page has artwork coming up and around it, and you can't really see, and the artwork is incredible. I was like spot the difference by trying to think, oh, where did this go from this page to the next? Awesome. And all of these fairy tales are in the Grisha universe, which Leigh Bardugo created, and I loved how these all kind of interwove with the books. You don't necessarily need to read the Grisha trilogy to understand these, but it kind of helps. I'm so glad I picked it up, especially, the signed edition. I'm just saying, I'm getting a bit of like a need to have signed stuff now. So now on to the books that I got for my birthday. I'm weird, I know, I'm weird. So as I said, for my birthday, my best friend gave me a Waterstones gift voucher, and I kind of went to town with it, so let's just get into them. I picked up 4 classics as well because, as I said earlier, I wanted to get more into classics and to read more classics because at school I didn't really read many, if at all. Even in high school and university, where I have a degree in English, they weren't included in any of the modules that I decided to take, strangely enough. Way to go, education. So I picked up The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Look how gorgeous this is. Like, seriously, gorgeous. And then, as a dust jacket. Again, no real idea what The Great Gatsby is about. I'm pretty certain it's about somebody called Gatsby. I tried to read it a couple of years ago on my phone when I was at the gym. That didn't work. Reading it on the phone, not the gym. But I really want to read it. It's only 192 pages long, so it won't take me that long to get through it. And from what I read, I did enjoy it. But it was just reading it on a phone that small. It's just that does not work for me. I need something bigger. Figured I would bite the bullet and actually get the hard copy of it. And this is just beautiful. I can just look at this Art Deco all day. I also picked up Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson, and this is gorgeous. Isn't this gorgeous? It's purple and it has like rose gold implements all over it. Beautiful. Again, never read Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Watched plenty of shows that have a character like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, so I thought, you know, I will actually read it and see what all the fuss is about and see what actually happens. I also picked up Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I just love the cover of it because it has like hearts all over it. I think you know what Frankenstein's about, so I don't really need to explain it. I kind of know what happens in it. I like to think I do, but I probably don't. And the book that I'm currently reading when I'm filming this is Dracula by Bram Stoker. I think it's almost like an Irish prerequisite to read Bram Stoker because it's the most famous Irish book, to be perfectly honest. Dracula, Bram Stoker. Everybody knows Dracula. Everybody knows of a movie or a film series that is based around Dracula. And so I figured, you know, I will do my cultural part and read it. Because I'm amazed that this was never in any of my lectures or classes at school, so why not pick it up now? Also, I picked up A Shattered Bright and Burning by Jessica Cluess, I think is the way to pronounce her name. I have no idea. But this is about Henrietta Howell, the first female sorcerer in years, and who is declared the prophesized one, the chosen one. This is set in Victorian London, and I had a soft spot for Victorian London through Sanctuary, and I think this would be a very cool read for anybody that loves Sanctuary. I love Sanctuary. This is pretty much why I picked it up, because, you know, she's a sorceress, Victorian London, chosen one. I kind of feel like Helen Magnus would be sticking her nose in there somewhere. It just sounds very intriguing and sounds like it's going to be a good read. I've heard a lot of good things about it, especially since the sequel was published not that long ago. I'm very intrigued by it, so I can't wait to pick it up. And the last book, holy feckin' Luya, Invictus by Ryan Graudin. I have heard amazing things about this book. People say it's Firefly meets Doctor Who meets Guardians of the Galaxy, and that just instantly says to me, Legends of Tomorrow. I haven't watched that show since the first season, but this sounds phenomenal. Faraway McCarthy is a time traveller with nowhere to call home and nothing to anchor him to the present. Far captains a crew on a dangerous mission into the past. Sounds like Legends of Tomorrow. When it collides with Elliot, a mysterious, secretive girl whose very appearance raises questions about time itself, Far immediately distrusts her, and he must take a leap of faith following Elliot on a race against time if he is to protect everything he's ever loved from disappearing forever. A fast-paced, heart-stopping journey that will leave you breathless. So good. Sounds so good. At times I'm wondering where people get Firefly from, because Firefly doesn't time travel. So I'm hoping a bit of Mal Reynolds kind of finds his way into this book. I love Mal. But this more speaks to me as Legends of Tomorrow meets Doctor Who. I'm very, very excited to read this. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book. So with my birthday money, I decided to pick this up. And I've just got about 5 more bookish goodies if you just want to hold on for me. I have no idea how long this is going to be because I'm probably sat here talking for 45 minutes, so hopefully it's not too long. So I got a Ravenclaw house pin because I am a Ravenclaw. I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan in the world, but I am a Ravenclaw. I love being Ravenclaw, and Luna is my favourite character. I identify spiritually with her. I picked this up because finally I found one, because everything that I see Harry Potter related is Gryffindor and Slytherin. Ravenclaw exists too, you know. In Athens I also picked up 2 magnetic bookmarks, and these have just sites of Athens. Some of them have the Acropolis on them. I don't know whether you can see that or not, whether it'll focus. And there's the other one. They just slip over the pages and keep you in place. I love magnetic bookmarks. They are the best thing. I also got from Waterstones this K bookmark. It is gorgeous. It's rose gold with some die cuts in it. And then because I saw this in the WH Smith in the Dublin airport, I just had to pick it up, and that is a Starfleet badge. That is a bookmark. So, but it is just so cute. I love it. And then it has the back. Is this kind of design of the bag. It's not like a magnetic one. It's more of a paperclip style one, but it nevertheless, I absolutely am in love with it, because let's face it, I don't have enough Star Trek merchandise in my life. I need so much more. Everything needs to be Star Trek, okay? I want Star Trek bookmarks. Make it happen, people. So if you are still with me, thank you so much for staying through all of these books. Like, oh my goodness, this was ridiculous. Like, this is what happens when you accumulate books over 3 months, and then you have to do like a big lengthy haul where half of the books you can't remember what they were about, and you're useless at explaining things as well. Hi, that's me. Nice to meet you. Glad you popped by. So as if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new and want to see more book hauls from me, and I will see you in my next video, which hopefully will be a lot shorter than this, because I won't be talking about 25 books. I think. Because I have to do a wrap up for 3 months. It's gonna be fun. Bye!